Hard to believe this piece of Star Wars cinematic masterpiece got cancelled. Really, really hard to believe. But then again, we're all celebrating. Yes, people, the news broke earlier this week, and everybody with any kind of common sense towards Star Wars felt a sigh of relief at hearing this. Of course, the woke lunatics freaked out, but still. Star Wars god-awful bastard stepchild, the Acolyte, has been cancelled after one horrendous season. I watched and reviewed every episode. It got worse and worse and worse. It was touted as some kind of murder mystery. It wasn't a murder mystery. It was touted as some kind of Jedi redemption story. It wasn't a Jedi redemption story. It was touted as some kind of feminist movement nonsense. It probably was that, but it was still awful. Disney tried to gaslight people and say plenty people were watching it. Well, that wasn't true. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And been like a month now since it ended, and news broke, deadline broken that Acolyte has been cancelled. No season 2 is coming. So let's dive into this because I have a few things to cover here. This article from Deadline was the first one to break it. The Acolyte cancelled. No season 2 for Disney Plus's Star Wars series. Yes, Amanda Stenberg and her stone-faced gaze. The woman has one facial expression for everything. It doesn't matter. There's one facial expression all the time. The story of the Acolyte will not continue, with Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with a second season of the Star Wars offshoot starring Amanda Stenberg, sources tell Deadline. Word of the decision comes more than a month after the 8-episode first season of the series from creator, director, executive producer, and showrunner Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, that's who Leslie Headland is, wrapped its run on Disney Plus. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. It has been cancelled after whatever in God's name Leslie Headland was trying to do there. No one really knows. The news is not entirely surprising. The Acolyte did okay with critics, with 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, but divided Star Wars fans, which was reflected in its overall viewership. Let's take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes score. Yeah, 78% critics, 18% from audiences. People were not interested in this, and when people saw it, they saw how bad it was, and they made it known that, listen, this is terrible. There's no point in trying to pretend it isn't. It's an absolutely horrible show, and that's what it was. And they won't even go and try and deny that that's entirely what the whole thing was. Driven by interest into the venerable space franchise, the Acolyte got off to a strong start when it launched June 4th with 2 episodes generating 4.8 million views in its first day on the streamer, to rank as the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year. You see, when they put out information like that, it gives the wrong impression, because you start to now say that, generating 4.8 million views in its first day on the streamer to rank as the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year. What else was there to really watch at that point in time on Disney Plus? What else? Nothing of much interest at all. It had Star Wars in the name. People will check out Star Wars for that, because it has Star Wars in the name. Star Wars has built up as a brand. Some people will look and say, well, okay, maybe this might be the one Star Wars show that isn't terrible, even though they came out and told people it was going to be terrible. It was worse than we all thought it was going to be. But that's what they're doing. Let's continue on. The tally rose to 11.1 million views globally after 5 days of streaming. Again, you're making these numbers, these irrational numbers are what Disney putting out, with nothing to back it up. at all. When they just put out these numbers and expect you to say, well, okay, that's perfectly fine, right? Corroborating Disney's data, the series made its debut on Nielsen's top 10 original charts in its premiere week at number 7 with 488 million minutes viewed, climbing to number 6 the following week. Okay? But the Acolyte did not sustain the momentum, dropping out of the top 10 in week 3 and staying off before returning at number 10 after the release of the finale, with the finale 335 million minutes, believed to be the lowest for a Star Wars series finale. Now, again, as they say, it started off at number 7 on the Nielsen streaming charts. Then it went to number 6. But by the 3rd episode, it fell off. Right, by week 3, it fell off, and it never came back on until the last episode. It came back at number 10 on the Nielsen streaming charts. You understand me? So let's take a look at some numbers here, because Cosmic Book News have it here with the Acolyte season finale scores lowest Star Wars ratings. Right, so let's go down to it here. And you see, this is the chart here. The Acolyte is at the bottom here at number 10. This is the final week it was there, right? 335 million minutes. Right, now this, as bad as that is, when you look in comparison to the other Star Wars shows, right? You look at them, you see how really terrible this thing actually did. Ahsoka had 575 million minutes watched. Andor had 674 million minutes watched. Obi-Wan had 860 million minutes watched, and that's only because it was Obi-Wan in the name. That quickly fell off horribly. It was a terrible series. Boba Fett, 885 million minutes watched. Mandalorian Season 3 had 1,012 million minutes watched, and Mando Season 2 had 1,336 million minutes watched. So yeah, all of these here, and all of these here shows the rating of it, and yeah, when you look at the Acolyte now, it's the numbers for it are absolutely atrocious. You go back here, coming in the final week at 335 million, which is considered the lowest for a Star Wars series. So yeah, it has been cancelled because it was horrible. And you know what's going to happen now? They're going to come out, and all these social media are going to come out and want to blame everybody else for it. They're going to come out and say, oh, you know, the trolls did it, and the bigots and the haters, all kind of thing. And then, of course, they're going to come out and say, hey, you know, all those YouTubers are to blame and all kind of thing. Like, if we have the power to do this, all we are doing as YouTubers, well, myself, I can speak for. All I'm doing is giving my honest opinion about something on my channel. That's it. I watched every episode of The Acolyte, so I can tell you exactly why this thing failed miserably. I don't have to pretend, hide, try to make up anything. I can tell you, you can check my videos exactly why this thing failed. It was horrible from the beginning. It made no sense. It went nowhere. It was just crony nonsense to see what they could do. I mean, they literally put in Dark Plagueis to try and you know, drum up some kind of support now. So he out of work, and Dark Plagueis, you know, managers probably like, listen, Plagueis, baby, it's been cancelled. You're going to have to go back on the shelf. It was a horrible, horrible series that made absolutely no sense. The story was garbage. They tried to put in a whole bunch of identity politics nonsense that went nowhere. But this is what they were doing. They weren't making these things for actual Star Wars fans. Leslie Headland was given $180 million to make an absolute mess by Kathleen Kennedy, who told her, go out there and make your version of Star Wars. And we got to her version of Star Wars, and it's horrible. It was horrible. So I am not surprised it has been cancelled. What else could you have done? You spent $180 million to make this, and to be perfectly honest with you, you never even had the capability of breaking even. Never had it. What in God's name Were you going to get some kind of return on? It was a terrible series. The villain was ridiculous. The Jedi were ridiculous. The council was ridiculous. Leslie Headland's wife can't act to save her life. Amanda Stenberg looks like she's staring into oncoming train every time she's on screen. What were you hoping? There was no story. There was nothing of any kind of consequence at all. You built up to nothing. That's it. You can blame whoever you want, but it doesn't change that fact. This is what happened. But of course, the series has been cancelled. So here comes the death threats. So, Master of the TDS, he compiled some of them here. But he had to say, yes, we are the toxic Star Wars fans, says the people wishing death on people over a Star Wars show being cancelled. I have had to say this to a few people, and I will say it again. Not liking something, doing a review of something and pointing out why something is bad or good, being honest, does not make you a hater or a toxic person at all. I have never wished death on anybody. I have never used anything on myself to attack anybody. I am being honest. That is what you get here. But no, when you see how these people operate, then you ask yourself that. Let's take a look at it. Yep, let's take a look at some of these here. First one here, some J. I'm so sick of Star Wars fans. You all will die and go to hell. Yeah, that person sounds absolutely fine and well put together. Well put together. And next one. The Acolyte cancelled because of racist, effing, misogynistic jerks. I'm gonna kill all the men on this effing planet. Yeah. That person sounds like they're happily married or something. Very, very well put together. Next one, some Val. Racist Star Wars fans all gotta die, man, like no other way around it. Check out another one here. We have Mars Saw Taylor. F you Disney Plus for cancelling the Acolyte. You let the racist and sexist dude bros win and let a beautiful, inclusive show die. F you all for real. And everything is in caps because apparently that's how this person screams or something. Next one, Mary Renew the Acolyte. Star Wars fans, fun fact. I'll kill you if you don't retract the news about the Acolyte. You gave it 1 effing month to renew the Acolyte. These are the people Disney wanted. These are the fans that they wanted. And you know what's very, very telling about this? It's very telling about this. All these horrendous death threats. Not one person here has mentioned anything about the Acolyte being a good show, about it having done anything right, about it having put anything well in place. Nothing. All they are out here saying, like the one who is in all caps here, F you Disney Plus for cancelling the Acolyte. You let the racist and sexist dude bros win and let a beautiful, inclusive show die. Beautiful, inclusive show. I mean, it's always the people who talk about inclusiveness and diversity and equity and all kind of thing, and you're out here literally screaming at people, calling them racist and sexist and telling people that they need to die and all this madness. This is what you all are doing. These are the people who claim to be so accepting and so inclusive of everything. This show was terrible. That is a fact. That is a fact. Like I said before, I watched every episode. I did review videos for every episode. I can tell you specifically each episode was terrible and why it was terrible. But no, you refuse to believe that but you're out here attacking people because, as far as you're concerned, this show was supposedly as woke as the day is long, so it should be put out there and renewed. Did any of you actually watch The Acolyte? I highly doubt it. But the minute something gets cancelled and you get activated by Twitter, let's go out and attack something, that's what you do. This is it. Death threats people. These are the people who claim that everybody else is toxic. This is it. They claim people are toxic, and this is their behavior. I've never wished death on anybody. I've never attacked anybody for anything. There have been things that I really like that have been cancelled, have been destroyed. I talk about it because that's my right. I will say, listen, this is terrible what they've done to this. And I move on. But no, you're out here shouting at people to die. That seems pretty damn freaking toxic to me. So yeah, The Acolyte is cancelled and these lunatics are out here screaming death at everybody. But this is the audience that Disney wanted. This is the new modern audience that they want. And you wonder why everything that they touch, everything woke turns broke, because these are the kind of people that you are encouraging to be a part of your new audience. And you know the shocking thing about it is, there is not enough of them to fill a spoon. That is why these things keep getting cancelled, because all this does is just show again that all these people who celebrate these things on Twitter are nothing but a bunch of bots. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Likes and retweets are not sales and they are not views. That's why you failed. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.